Hello, Soul Spiralers. Welcome back to today's episode. Today, I have the beautiful Christine Maudy here with me. She is a Reiki master, a past life regression therapist, a mentor, and a visual artist. You should see all of her beautiful artwork in her house. A shamanic practitioner, and she works with both genders, but really has a passion for healing and empowering women. And I have had the pleasure of receiving treatment from her and also attending her Reiki training. So I'm very, very grateful that she's agreed to come on the podcast today. So welcome, Christine.
Thank you, Christine. I'm very grateful for you to do this podcast with me and to meet virtually all your listeners.
Yeah, welcome virtually. It's very exciting. Now, if people haven't already picked up by your accent, Christine is French and it's got beautiful dulcet tones that are wonderful to listen to. So I'm sure that will allow you to take us back a little bit on your journey, to tell us a bit more about how you came across this path and how you've become who you are in front of me today.
Yes, well, it's a bit of a long story, but in short, I was born in France and in Paris, actually. And around maybe 30 years ago, something really incredible happened in my life. I was perfectly happy in Paris. I was running my own company, a public relation and event management company, working with beautiful clients. And I had a team of young women. We were really good friends and doing amazing work. But when on one of these rainy weekend where I was like every weekend looking at all the magazines for my client to see all the editorials and everything, I just opened a magazine. Well, it opens almost by itself on a double page about a country in Africa just opening its door to tourism called Sierra Leone. And I don't know what happened. It was just like a call of spirit, I imagine now with time. And I had really this call to go to this place. So I said to Jacques, my ex-husband, that's where we are going for Christmas. And he had a look. He said, oh, yeah, it looks wonderful. Not a problem, So I booked tickets. And when we arrived, and traveling, actually taking the plane at night, we arrived at night and landed in Freetown, beautiful name for this city, the capital of Sierra Leone. And my whole life changed. It was almost like, I describe it often like a tsunami of emotion. We just landed, and as soon as I set my feet on the tarmac, the heat, the smell, everything was really so strong. I felt completely excited, overwhelmed by really positive emotion. Then we had to, take our luggages and helped all. There was just a small group of people in a kind of old bus, and we had a couple of hours just through basically the jungle, different villages on the dirt road, being really shaken. I had to hold my daughter because it was late, she was asleep, and every time there was a big hole, a big bump, she was almost falling. And we arrived in this paradise, beautiful place, and my heart was just, pounding. I was really in tune with everything. It was just like all my senses were, really activated, like I never felt before. So we stayed there a couple of weeks, and it was just incredible experience. It was even difficult to sleep. I was so, in tune, so connected to the place. And we came back, and I couldn't be in Paris anymore. I was waking up every morning crying, feeling that there was, this connection I had felt for 2 weeks. This incredible awakening was calling me again. So, I'm pretty motivated and stubborn. So, I went to see these people who were the owners of this tiny eco resort, far from everything. And I said, you need me. I'm a fabulous PR person. I can bring, no one's know about your place. It's really tiny. It can really grow. I can see it. And I can bring all the journalists you want, And they say, yeah, fabulous. They look at my, all the books I had with all the editorials about my client. And they say, yeah, we'd love to, but we don't have money. And I say, well, let's make a deal. You pay me in plane tickets and free holiday when I bring people, I bring journalists, and then you give me a free holiday. And they say, okay, fabulous.
Wow.
So yeah, I did this for them a few years, and eventually they paid me. And every time I was going, my cup was full, of this connection. And it's only years after that I realized that actually my awakening spirit was the earth, that was nature, that was Mother Earth, Pachamama, calling me, and I couldn't live without this connection. So yeah, we eventually, every time we were back, it was difficult for me because I wanted what I was feeling full time, not 2 or 3 weeks and then back, So I went 24 times along several years. And every time we were back, I was telling Jacques, my ex-husband, listen, it will be so fabulous to find our place.
Yeah.
And I realized it was not about Africa, despite I still love Africa and I love the wilderness and the people, but it was, finding our place in the world with this connection with the earth. And then everything started to flow amazingly. A friend came no one was talking in France about Australia at the time. That was before, all the famous movie Crocodile Dundee and Muriel's Wedding and everything. But he was called to make an advertising movie for, I think it was Peugeot or Renault, I don't remember. And when he came back, he called me immediately, and it's a friend I've known for a long time. He traveled with us in Sierra Leone. He knows me well. And he kept telling me, I kept thinking about you. I almost saw you in Sydney, saw you in Uluru. Maybe you should check. And I listened to him. So we came to Australia the first time. My youngest daughter was just born. So that was in 93. And I organized, the fabulous trip, arriving through Darwin and everything. And we really liked it. Came a second time, and then just, Spirit showed me that it was a place because suddenly my ex-husband was invited by the Australian Trading Commission to come for an official trip and meet Paul Keating. And a lot of officials in Australia. Then we became, the pets of the Australian ambassador. We came several times to cocktail and everything. And we applied for a visa and got it and moved here in 95.
Wow.
So quite an interesting journey. And then everything kept flowing. So from being a PR person, I was always an artist. At one stage, I was a fashion designer with my own label. I arrived and I started to paint, like a crazy woman. I couldn't stop. I had all these images from all the joy of Africa, all the connection with the landscape. So I started to paint, and neighbors started to buy my painting. And then, Jacques, my ex-husband, said, what are you going to do with this painting? Why don't you, everyone loved them, have an exhibition? I said, okay, why not? Went to Nusa Regional Gallery, had a beautiful, successful first exhibition, sold 30% of my work when no one knew me. And then everything started to happen, exhibition, in Sydney, in Melbourne, and Adelaide, and then overseas, Dubai, Singapore, Paris. And at the same time, I had a very good friend who finished a book and told me, this book is for you. And I was a bit intrigued. It was a book called The Healing of the Rainbow Body by Jessie Ayami.
Yeah.
And I just, absolutely devoured this book. It was just like, really connecting so deeply with my soul, with myself. And it was, this woman is a master shaman, Ayami, living in America near Monsashta. And I just absolutely loved everything, all the exercises she gave. I just felt so immersed with what she was writing that I thought, I want to meet this woman. I want to keep doing this work. And, we traveled in France, back to France. And I thought when I come back, I look for her workshop. And it was really, quite intriguing because we came back and I had an email from a friend of a friend writing to all our friends saying, oh, I have this beautiful shaman practitioner coming to do a workshop at my place in Kulam.
Oh my gosh.
And it was Jessie.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and it was a level 2. So, and I never had done any workshop. I had read the book and done the homework. So I called this woman and I said, listen, I don't know you well, but I just, someone forwarded your email. I really want to be there, but I never worked with her before. And she said, call her, or write a message. So I came back home, just send a message to Jessie, and she was, of course, on the other side of the world, but she was on her computer. So she answered immediately. Wow. Saying, okay, you read the book, you didn't do the first workshop, but you are very welcome. Just know that you will be the first one to talk, and it's about childhood and everything that has happened to you. It might be a bit challenging if you want to do it, and say, yeah, of course, I want to do it. So, yeah, that's how my shamanic journey and really deeply spiritual journey in a conscious way really started. So I did, a retreat workshop with Ayami here in New Zealand, met amazing people. And then another friend say, oh, I was doing already yoga and other things. And a friend said, we are going every Monday to a beautiful meditation circle. You should come. So, yeah, I came with them and I met my Reiki master. The atmosphere was beautiful, so light, so clear, and there were people, lots of women, but some men as well. There was this amazing young woman, I'm still friends with her, who was battling a very rare form of cancer with absolutely no hair because she was doing chemotherapy. She looked like an angel. She was so beautiful. Wow. Beautiful, clear eyes and such an incredible energy. And she healed herself despite, that the odds were not very good for her. And, I went there several Mondays in a row and then asked the woman holding the meditation, what else do you do? I really love this energy. And she said, oh, here is my, business card, have a look. And that's how I learned about Reiki. And again, reading about Reiki, did my research, and it really, really made sense. So I started to study with her, not to become a teacher at all, just, for me, my personal growth, healing the past. I had quite a lot of heavy luggage from my childhood, having been, sexually abused and not listened to by my parents when I was very young. And heard only when I was 40. So it was really a long time of me screaming to them, but, they couldn't hear. Now I know why. But, at the time it was difficult. So, I just started to learn Reiki for myself and to support my 2 daughters and my friends and my husband at the time. And I think my Reiki master knew from the beginning I will be teaching. So when the master teacher happened, I just knew I needed to do it, and and then I haven't stopped. So that's in short the story, and and I met many other teachers. I really deepened my connection with shamanism being on this land, because there is so much power and history in the land in Australia, despite that we don't work enough with the Aboriginal, the owners of the land. The land is talking to us. So it's really very powerful. So, and I did a lot of work with a man called Alberto Villoldo, and I actually developed realized that my lineage, shamanic lineage, was coming, for a long time from South America, and especially from Peru and Ecuador, where I had amazing experiences. So yeah, in short, I'm in my 60s, so many things have happened since I moved, and
amazing. Do you feel like you know why you ended up landing in the Sunshine Coast? Because obviously, like, coming into Australia and there being so many different avenues, and even like with your artwork, probably exploring many different places, why do you feel that you landed here?
Because that was the place I was supposed to be, and because all the connection, and it's a special place. I believe that a lot of people, of course, there are local people born on Sunshine Coast, but a lot of people like you, actually, and Alex, choose to come and live to Sunshine Coast because there is a very special vibration. And that's why there are so many people doing healing work, many artists. You have different places like this in Australia and of course in the world, but for some reason that's where spirit kept pushing us. We traveled 3 times, and we were pretty thorough. We went even to Perth,
Wow.
Perth, Adelaide, we went everywhere, but every time our feet were coming back here, it was ticking so many boxes, and we were meeting people, French people settling also here. So it was, I think spirit is always gently guiding us. Well, gently or not gently. I think after Sierra Leone, it was basically a big kick to make me feel that I can't be in France anymore. While in Paris, I need to. So it was just like, this life is finished. Didn't have to hesitate too long. It was unbearable suddenly. Pleasure of a great life, perfect life we had, suddenly it was not bearable anymore. So it's really interesting.
It is really interesting. Thank you for sharing your journey to that degree with us. And why do you feel like the connection to the earth is such like an integral part of our spiritual journey?
Well, because we are the children of the earth, and we chose to live at a moment where our planet is at a tipping point. So I think that all the people, being born to be present at the moment have been chosen to help heal the earth. A lot of them don't know yet, or don't want to see, or fear to be engaged, but that's why we are here. We are here to help awaken more people to this message from the planet, and that's really what pushed me more on my shamanic journey. Actually, it was reading Alberto's book and the prophecies of the descendant of the Inca, the Keo people, and hearing, how much they love nature and how much they respect everything. And suddenly they could feel that we were all, in danger, and that they needed to share their initiation, share their gifts that were before, only for them and for medicine men and women, with people like me, and all those ready. So I think that's really, that's really Pachamama, the spirit of the earth, just trying to awaken so many people.
I really resonate with that. And I feel like that's such a reminder of like that perspective and like seeing the bigger picture, because sometimes it's very easy to get like bogged down in our own little lives and be in our own little bubbles, especially completely. At the moment we're only in bubbles in some places. And when we take that moment to feel like, why did our souls choose to incarnate at this time with everything that's happening?
Yeah.
I mean, I believe that there has to be a reason.
Of course.
There has to be a choice.
Yeah, of course. And I can tell you that this class I've been teaching for, I think everything started around 2002, my really, daily work. But I see that this last 2-3 years, I've been teaching so much more.
Yeah.
And a lot of, before the people awakened were more women, often in, mid 40, 45, when the children started to grow up and they were coming back to their souls and everything. But now I have so many young people. One of my youngest Reiki masters started with me, was 17.
Yeah.
Lately, I had another one, 19, just finished his master. And he's incredible. He has, his own. He has his own healing room at his parents' place. They trust him. They, and he does some little videos on Instagram. And when he talks, he comes to some of the fire meditation I do regularly for the full moon, and older men who have been wise and awakened for a long time come to tell me, wow, this guy, when he speaks, he's incredible, he's so connected. And so many of them, they are so young men, young women, who just feel that, they are not, some of them were at university, say, I don't have any, that's not my place to be there. I don't care about marketing. I don't want, and I want to help people. And that's what they do. So yeah, it's really, it's a difficult, but it's a very special time, I believe. And even children, when I teach Reiki to children, some of them are absolutely incredible.
Yeah. It's very humbling to hear.
Very. And it's comforting because it's quite easy to be distraught with, what we are, how much our life have changed. And, here we are pretty protected, but we still can't see our family, we can't travel, there is always these messages that if you don't vax, this is going to happen. But, when you see all these people rising and sharing their light and willing to grow, it's really, it gives a lot of hope.
Definitely. Yeah. That's what we need.
Exactly.
Yeah. Love and hope. Yeah. Why do you think, I want to understand a little bit more about your journey with Reiki, because obviously that's how I first met you. Was Alex said, I just got off the phone with a Reiki master and she sounds amazing. And I love the connection that we had, was in the middle of our fast. We were water fasting, and Christine called Alex for a sauna, and he doesn't usually answer sales calls, and especially while we were fasting, and just happened to be, and it just felt so perfect. And then once we finished fasting, I was like, can you please send me her number, because I know I have to go and meet her and have a session. And it feels and when I hear your story, it's very inspiring to me, because you like a lot of the things that I like as well. So I really, I feel that inspiration. But I want to understand what was, obviously you experienced those meditations with your teacher, and you were like, what, pragmatic, what more kind of aspect?
Well, just, as soon as I finished the level 1, it was just like opportunity to use this energy and connect deeper. And I remember coming back home, and actually one of the other students came with me because we wanted to practice immediately. The experience was so fabulous. We said, we just finished, but let's do some more practice. And we arrived, and actually a bird just knocked the window and fell. So we look at each other and said, wow, we are going to give treatment to this bird. and it worked. So that was really exciting. And the more I use Reiki is quite an amazing, it's not only energy, but it's really a complete system to change your mind, to be aware of your, of your thought and of your emotions, and basically learning to answer to life, but not to react. When we react, when we are overwhelmed by our emotions, we completely lose control. It's not us answering, it's our anger or our sadness or fear. So I connected, because I had healing to do for myself, even if I'd done lots of different things before. I studied psychology, I worked with children, I did the psychotherapy for myself. But yeah, it just for me, Reiki is complete. So you can learn, my goal in life is not to keep people dependent on coming for a treatment. Because they feel better. Some can heal spontaneously of a physical problem, or even suddenly have to realize that they don't need to keep taking antidepressant on their life, that they can, there is another, way of doing things. And I think my goal is to empower people, to give them the courage to do it for themselves. And that's the beauty of Reiki. You do level 1, you already have a practice that is life-changing. It changed my life. And it changed, I teach around more than 100 people every year in Australia, and usually in France as well. I haven't been for the last couple of years. I teach Reiki and everything I do. But I think everything I've learned, basically, it's really connection to the earth, connection to spirit, understanding your soul journey. And we all had many different lives, and we come for a specific reason at this very special time. So it's really, bringing all these ingredients so we can really play our part and support other people.
Definitely. I love that. It's like all the little bits and pieces that allow us to feel more whole in a sense, and come back to ourselves. I mean, this is always a theme in my podcast, is like, how can we come home to ourselves? And I feel like that's me need to rename my podcast Coming Home to Yourself. Because the conversations always seem to come back to that, and Reiki is one of those amazing tools.
And it doesn't, it doesn't come from what you start doing when you, for me, from my experience, when I started to practice Reiki for myself first and give treatment to friends and to my family. I didn't, then I became a practitioner and then a teacher, but I didn't choose to add past life regression. It's not intellectual. It's just that during a Reiki treatment, I could see the person, in another body, in another life. And it was, wow, why is spirit showing me this man on a field, on a battlefield in 1915 or 16. And yes, the impact, why he was not sleeping, that was because of this. And I thought that's fascinating. And, I had read long time before in France, Brian Weiss, and it was, okay, let's explore. And of course, the teacher appeared. I didn't look for her. She just basically came. So everything works like this, I think the more we trust, we have all these signs, all the people, all the things we need coming to us. We just have to say yes and not go to the mind.
Have you ever found it hard to trust the messages you're receiving, or is it always very obvious?
I'm very lucky.
You're very intuitive. As well.
I'm very intuitive and very lucky that I feel this message like a call, irresistible. Sometimes this decision can be difficult, like ending my marriage after some 30 years of absolutely fabulous companionship, love, partnership in business and for everything. So that was hard. That was a hard lesson because I'm naturally very optimistic. So I thought, if I give him time, things are going to get better and we can evolve in the same way. But it was no. It was impossible. We just, just a crossroad, and you have to accept to close the door. In many ways, it's closing the doors and opening another one. It doesn't mean not seeing the person anymore, or but It's just changing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The roles just change a little bit. Yeah.
Exactly.
They're still there to be lessons in your life, just in different ways.
And still love and friendship are still there, and he's the father of my daughters, and many things I love and respect in him that we are not to live together anymore, and that's fine.
Yeah, amazing. How do you think that so many people could benefit from, I mean, what if everyone in the world did their Reiki 1 training? How do you think the world
that would be wonderful. That's a dream for me. That's why I think Spirit is sending me all these people who want to, my next Reiki master class, not everyone wants to do their master. It's full, and it has been full now for some time. I had 1 spot left, and I have a waiting list. So when you see so many people standing, wanted to, and some of them calling, say, "Oh, I did my Reiki with you, 6 months ago, 6 years ago." It's that suddenly they need to do their master, or they need to do their level 2. Or it's just like, again, I think now Spirit guidance is very strong for me. It's this irresistible call.
I love that. The irresistible call. Do you feel like there are more people getting that irresistible call right now?
Yes, completely. And whatever, even for young people, whatever the father say, you need to make a living. They just trust. And they are so connected, really so spiritual. I had few of these young men I was talking about coming to do a journeying, a shamanic journey day workshop with me, and what they see, what they get, it's fabulous. They are such an inspiration for so many people. That's awesome to be able to work with, teach, and be. We have a strong relation. Some of them send me text messages, they need someone to talk, because it's not easy to be 19 or 17 and to have all this vision and to feel all this power in your hand.
So amazing. How do you feel people benefit from like learning about this between lives or past life sort of experiences? Obviously you spoke about a situation earlier where he couldn't sleep, and the reason was a past life. Can you explain that a little bit more for maybe?
So I believe, and it's also part of the shamanic teaching, actually, that we had many lives, and that when we died, if some of the trauma we had in the life were not solved, we keep the imprint in what the shamans call the Viracocha, which is basically our soul chakra. And that's what is going to create, when we are ready, and if we are ready, a new body. So it means that we come on life in a new life with imprint for the past. So these imprints can be emotional, that can be, they can be also physical. I had people having pain in their back or in their hips, something coming, and they tend to repeat. So that means suddenly they have this pain, or they have surgery because they were killed, on a battlefield when they were at the time of the Crusaders, and with the sword in their tummy, and they come back and suddenly they have bowel cancer and they need surgery exactly at the same place where they were cut dead, because the body starts doing the same trauma. When these people come for a past life, it just, you can erase all this and get rid of it. And same with emotional trauma carrying, I had an amazing story too, a young woman who is actually a psychologist, and was doing studies. She came because she also wanted to learn past life and was interested by hypnosis. So she came and we were chatting before, and I said, "Oh, did you prepare questions?" And I said, "Oh, when I was preparing questions for the session, I realized, actually there is something I would like to investigate. Why do men look at me like a good mate? never like a woman they desire, you know, not like a woman. I feel they look at me like if almost I was a guy.
Yeah.
And she's gorgeous, beautiful, you know, clear eyes, you know, really nice curly hair, slim, amazing smile. So she has everything to seduce, you know, a man. And during the past life, it appears that she couldn't marry who she wanted and became a nun.
Wow.
And that's how she died, with the pain of not being able to love and to live with the person she loved, and, you know, the sacrificing her life as a woman. So she was carrying this imprint. So we cleared it, and we had good laugh after the session. And it was really like instant. It was quite amazing, because a couple of weeks later, I received a text message from her telling me, guess what, Kristin? You know, I've been asked twice for coffee.
Wow.
And tonight I'm going for dinner with this really nice guy. So that was, I don't know, maybe 8 years ago or 7 years ago. And now she lives with this Italian guy, very happy, and her life changed.
Wow.
So there are stories like this. And some, you know, if you don't have this big, you know, this big imprint or whatever, it's also very interesting on a soul level. Of knowing what you have been doing before, you know.
You know, I'm curious about that.
Of course, it's, you know, well, it really makes you understand your soul better. And also it takes out completely the fear of death. Because it's just the end of this life, but not the end of the soul. The soul is still there. And some of the past lives that are shown to us are amazing. Like one of the best regression I did for myself when I was studying with my teachers was in ancient Egypt. And I was basically raised to be a priestess and to help people, to help their soul pass over. And I was, you know, it was so present, this life. I could touch, I could feel, I could sense. And I had this room all white, you know, kind of white marble, my white stone, and I was preparing all these kind of creams, you know, potion to rub on the heart chakra of the people dying. And death was not a drama like it is nowadays, you know. It was just like an ascension process. And I had this image that was which was really very strong of being called to help a young prince to die. And I was, you know, a huge room with this bed in the middle, the place where I was laying. The family was seated very far. I was the only one there, all dressed in white, with my very dark hair, very different from now. And, you know, with this potion and singing, using my voice, which I do now.
You do,
and using all this, you know, creams and stuff with this amazing perfume, the myrrh and incense, you know, and I use essential oil as well now, and just thinking incantation to allow, you know, and it was just so beautiful and so powerful. It was just amazing. So I didn't, when we finished, but, you know, at the end of a regression, you always ask, are you ready to leave? And I was, no. And just seeing so precisely artifact I had in my room where I was preparing all this. And one of them, I was really attached to it. So pity we can't take it back home. It was beautiful with lapis lazuli and silver, really magnificent.
Amazing.
And the wall, it was beautiful. So it's fascinating.
So fascinating how like you were saying, your present reality is like reflective so much of those experiences too. And it almost like helps you to understand yourself better and the choices that you make and the way that you prefer to live your life, maybe to keep navigating through our soul's journeys and what we're here to learn and, you know, evolve too.
Exactly, evolve, because it's never finished, you know, it's never finished, and you don't know what you're going to be shown. Like I didn't really decide to have an intense shamanic experience in the Amazon, but again, irresistible call.
Yeah,
just
call.
it's so I think everything you need comes back, and it's like I remember describing once to a friend with a beautiful astrologer, archetypal astrologer, describing how I could see now, the privilege of age.
Mm-hmm.
I could see everything that has happened in my life, from early childhood, even birth, which was quite traumatic, to moving here, everything I've learned, the people I've met, like an incredible masterpiece. Like, that's each of us, we create our masterpiece. That's our journey.
Oh, I love that.
So it's just like, suddenly being able to be detached.
Yeah.
You're not just, in the present or looking at what has happened and saying, why did I study this? Everything has a meaning, and everything just weaves this incredible tapestry or mosaic, whatever you want to see it, and connects and comes back. So, the earth, Pachamama called me 35 years ago to go to Africa and then here. But today, 2017 or 18, when I went doing this intense immersion shamanic, it was again, so just like, bringing new colors, but, it's part of the same path.
Painting, yeah, we are I love the artist analogy of us being the artists of these masterpieces that we create, and maybe when we're at a soul level we can see all these different paintings that we've created, all these different masterpieces.
I'm sure we can. I'm sure we can. And, and it really takes off completely the pain of anything difficult, because grieving is difficult, not being heard is difficult. I work with a lot of people who had men and women who had abuse in their life. But when you realize that we are not victims of the world we see, and that actually it's a lesson, it's a gift, even if it's difficult. I remember saying this at a Reiki class. I had this beautiful woman, we're still connected. She lives in Tasmania, and she had a lot of health issue, autoimmune problem and everything. And I was doing distance healing treatment with her, and it was helping her quite a lot. And then she had to come and see a specialist in Brisbane, and she said, I can't be in Brisbane from Tasmania, I'm not seeing you. So she hired a car and came here for a treatment in person, which was really beautiful. And we really felt strong connection. And then she came back again and stayed with me to learn Reiki. And when I was guiding one of the self-healing during Reiki, I always tune in the energy of the student present. And I had this phrase coming from A Course in Miracles, saying, I'm not a victim of the world I see. And she just burst in tears, And when the meditation, the self-healing finished, she said, wow, that was so hard, but so beautiful. And I really got it. I'm not a victim. It's not because I've been abused sexually when I was little that I'm a victim. I take back my power. And that's what she has been doing. And today she's not sick anymore, and she's, living a great life. So it's quite amazing.
It's all the reminder we need at the moment. We're not victims of what's happening. Exactly.
That's a very powerful message that keeps coming back.
Definitely.
Because it's easy to feel, they are the bad ones and we are victims. Nope.
Yeah.
No, certainly not. We chose to be here, and we need to stand.
Definitely. Yeah. How do you think the going to the Amazon changed you as a human and as a practitioner?
Yeah, quite a lot. It was huge. It really helped me to trust even deeper spirit and messages, to realize that you don't even need words to feel people's energy, to connect, and to have an intense relationship. And we stayed with different tribes. We were immersed, I really felt I deepened my connection with the archetype of Jaguar, which is actually what, we went into three different tribes, and I did 3 ayahuasca ceremony. The 3 different shamans, they don't know each other, different tribes, they all saw that my spirit was Jaguar.
A black jaguar? Or
like a black jaguar.
Yeah.
And it was incredible. And the last part of our trip, we stayed with a tribe, beautiful tribe called the Sapara people. And they have a village, and they created like a little place with like a common space with it's in the jungle, so no roof, nothing. They don't have huts or traditional houses, everything was open. Well, they have some huts for themselves when it rains and everything, but all the open space is just a roof and a floor, basically, or sometimes just the earth. And that's where we were meeting every morning to talk about our dreams, because they share their dream, and their dream is as important as daily life. And also that's where we were doing the ceremony. And the last ceremony we did, the shaman was an incredible, beautiful person, and a big part, his mom was there, older mom, and lots of elders. It was really fabulous, some children around. And we did the ceremony, and he gave me an initiation. He stayed with me, I don't know, I lost my partner, say more than 1 hour, maybe. I have absolutely zero idea. It just came, asked me to sit between his legs, and started to sing, to blow in my crown chakra, which is part of what I do, also doing initiation with people. And it was just like a total out of body experience. It was just incredible, really absolutely intense. And, so he was whistling, singing. And it was just like my energy was just, becoming, melting with everything. I was part of the jungle. I could, it was really incredible. And then he called another shaman, telling him, I am with Christina. They were calling me Christina. Come. And this guy who just died recently, David, came and also started to give me an initiation. So when I came back, it was, the first treatment, Reiki, shamanic treatment I was giving. I was just blown away at the level of connection. And sometimes the shaman was appearing in my room, and he's alive. But sometimes he's here, and some of my clients saw him.
Wow.
So it just really makes you trust even deeper. And I was connected, and when I do a treatment, a Reiki treatment or shamanic treatment or whatever I do, I'm guided. It's not me, I'm just a channel. But since the Amazon, it just multiplies so much. It was incredible. It was beautiful. Yeah. So it's with me all the time. And also, I started, when we came back, started to do the fire and cacao ceremony. And every time I do it, every time I drum, I'm with them. Yeah. And they are here.
Yeah. Because it's like that connection through the earth, but then also through our bodies being the earth, and our bodies being the spirit as
completely,
well.
Completely. Yeah.
Oh, so beautiful.
So it's really, it's just like they could read our energy and sending us back to our home, so we could share their talents, their connection, and become like little ambassadors, of what they call the Munekis, this awakening to take responsibility for the earth, to become earth keepers.
And I know you are very connected to your commitment to the earth, and the way that you want to show up in this world in that regard. And I think that's so admirable, and so many more people, I think, are starting to be able to do that with ourselves through what we're doing for the planet and for the earth. Like we're earth keepers here, like
completely.
And I really feel that you embody that. What are the ways that you stand up for the earth in the way your daily life?
Well, it's really about trying, as much as possible, as, really making your imprint lighter, and living more consciously. And so, Lee, or my partner, is growing most of our food. And of course, we compost. When we buy organic. We support, local organic farmers and local shops that are doing organic, and because that's a minimum, avoiding plastic and all this kind of stuff, which is not always easy. Writing, suddenly, I have enough when when someone keep doing this brand Koyo, which is fabulous, and Sunshine Coast. Why are they still using plastic? So now there is another brand doing glass jars. So I just write to them and say, guys, you're losing me, but you are going to lose more people. Wake up, it's not that difficult. So it's just, plenty of little things that eventually make big things. And also educating students when they come. And it's changing, because when I was teaching Reiki level 1, I had people coming. I always ask people to bring a healthy plate to share. And it seems simple for you and for me. That so many people were telling me, what do you mean by a healthy plate to share? So I had to add, if possible, organic, salad, fruits, but it's changing, Before I had people coming with cheese on the blister, or so I was explaining, look what's written. It's full of products you don't want to put in your body. And then there is a plastic that you're going to, end up where. So it's just about helping people. But now it's amazing. We have a kind of rainbow lunch with so many different colors, and people make the effort of preparing food.
It's amazing.
And sharing.
It's that respect for yourself allows that respect for the planet.
Exactly. And I think a lot of people are not educated, or they think organic is expensive, and that what the price of health.
Exactly.
And because there are not all these additives, more salt, more sugar, you don't crave. So you eat less. And if you eat less, you are healthier. So it's just like, this circle. So when people start, one of the big pleasure of teaching Reiki is that a lot of people after level 1, which is, the self-healing, have amazing changes. I had students becoming vegan, I had students suddenly realizing that they couldn't have meat or alcohol or coffee. And, I think there is no rule. Everyone is free to choose what they do. But it's fabulous to see people more in tune, listening to the language of the body. What does my body need today?
That's beautiful. Listening to the body, connecting to the body, and following those irresistible calls.
Exactly.
I love that. I have some questions to ask you, Christine. All right. What is your sun, moon, and rising sign? You're a Taurus, yeah?
I'm a Taurus, I'm a Taurus, and my moon is Gemini, and my rising sun is Taurus again. So double bummer.
Got that Taurian nature. The earth,
and unstoppable.
That determination.
Exactly.
Do you know your human design?
Do I know my
human design?
No.
But you do a lot of work in numerology.
I do. My soul path number is 11. I'm a master number 2911.
I love that. 11. I'm so connected. I'm born on the 11th, but I'm a 6 though. A 246. What's your favorite fruit?
Oh, it's difficult. I love all the fruits actually. I would say maybe mangoes, papaya. I think almost every day I can eat papaya.
Me too.
But I have a passion for fruit, so I could eat only fruits.
It's probably why you and I get along.
Avocado is beautiful too.
You can't go past avocado. If you could return to one moment in your life and re-experience it again, what would it be?
That's a difficult question because there are so many of them. Well, it really depends what I'm thinking of. There are actually two strong moments that are coming on for me, and the first one was the birth of my first daughter. It was absolutely overwhelming with emotion. I think we were both crying, and it was so powerful, but I was not in charge. Okay. For my second daughter, I had changed. It was 10 years after, and 9 years, and 10 years exactly, actually. And I gave birth, and there was how do you call this, women?
Midwife.
Yeah, the midwife was there, and I was completely in charge. And when my second daughter started to show up her head, I just said, "Don't touch her. I'm doing it."
Yeah.
and I grabbed her and put her on me. And I was also overwhelmed by joy, but really overwhelmed by my own power as a woman. So there were two different moments. And maybe if I was going back, I think both were necessary. It's part of the of the evolution. That in some way, if I was redoing the first one, maybe I would have wished that my daughter felt me in my power. Now she knows that I am in my power, and she, she's doing everything she can to learn to be herself in her power. But I think, we send an imprint to our children. So,
they choose it as well.
So it's quite interesting. But they are two very, very important moments for me. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing those. They made me both very emotional. You probably can see, of course. But I'm like feeling that connection of like, my own journey with motherhood soon. And I'm also pre-period, and I'm just like, feeling all the feels.
Feeling hormonal.
Yeah, hormonal in the best way. Would you choose the forest or the ocean?
Difficult one again, because I love both. I love everything on this earth. But I don't like the ocean too much here because I love being alone on the beach. I never go. I love Mululaba, but I go during the week because I don't, the weekend I can't, school holiday I can't. But, we were in this little island for 5 days. The ocean is Pumpkin Island. That's paradise, clear water, white sand, trees behind. But I can feel myself, when we were in the Amazon or here, when I go in the forest, in Tasmania, all these places with incredible trees. Oh, I feel so alive as well. I can't choose. Sorry.
Fair enough. That's okay. I'll allow it. What plant or flower do you work with the most?
Well, I think what I really feel a lot are trees, certainly, and all kind of trees. There is on the property a ficus tree, which was actually offered to me for my 40th birthday in a little pot with a nice big red ribbon, and we planted it, and it's so big, and I feel so connected. And Jacques, my ex, always said, this tree is you, it keeps growing, it keeps attracting more birds, and like you attract people. So I feel really a deep connection to this tree, and basically I really love all flowers and all plants, and
so beautiful. Do you have a favorite crystal?
I really love labradorite. That's for me, it has been a magical crystal from the beginning.
I knew you were going to pick something with blue in it because I feel like you have so much blue in your essence.
I love all the blues, all the greens, and labradorite is it's a stone of transformation, which is why we are here. To transform and evolve.
Definitely. And my last one is, do you have a spirit animal? But it sounds like we already got that message earlier. That black jaguar.
Jaguar.
Jaguar. Amazing. Should we pull a card before we finish up?
Yes, with pleasure.
We have an oracle of the hidden worlds here.
Yeah, good.
Have you seen this deck before?
No.
It's a special deck. I don't use it in clinic. It's just for my own
Yeah.
play.
Okay. Good.
Gonna shuffle and pull one for
Yeah,
us.
I love the color.
It's a very indigo colored, indigo-y purple, and yeah, I really love these cards.
So what's coming? It's the tree of illumination. Truth, revelation, understanding. Number 7.
7. It's a very special number. There are within this world certain trees which have qualities that are unique and magical. All trees have a little of this magic, but in some, the power accumulates and rests and rises until the tree becomes a part of a sacred place, in which great healing, revelations, understanding, and moments of insight can take place. They have been many among the great divine ones of the world: Odin, Dragsil, Buddha, and the tree. This tree is one such as those. You are now invited to step into the energies of this tree and receive the wisdom it wishes to offer you. In your own world, make the time to connect with all trees, but in this moment, gazing upon the card, know that there dwells within this tree a great spirit who wishes now to share with you the potent magic of the realms that some would call the fairies. This shining one now invites you in. As you enter and lay down beneath the branches, light will fall upon you and nurture you and become part of you, so that you can know the truth of any circumstance that has troubled you. Take this worry to the tree of illumination, and when you still yourself and listen, go to the trees. You will return with all you seek to know.
Interesting. Nothing is by chance.
Sounds very perfect for your tree, but also obviously what everyone else needs to hear to go and connect with that nature and connect with the tree. Yeah, so beautiful.
The tree of illumination.
So if people want to get in touch with you or they want to work with you, what are you offering at the moment, and how is the best way to get in touch?
Well, the best way is to look maybe at my website, livinginspired.com.au. Coming soon, I teach regularly all the levels of Reiki. So if people feel like that's their journey, there is that will be actually the last Reiki 1 for the year is early December, the first weekend. Coming very soon, I have an event just for women, and we still have 4 or 5 places. Spots, it's Alive and Shining. It's a 1-day retreat that I've been creating and weaving with 2 of my Reiki masters, 2 beautiful women. One is on top of a Reiki master, a yoga teacher, and the other one is a young woman very special, who has specialized because of her past in warm healing, which is something I do, that she does massage of tummy massage, very
like
powerful
kind of massage.
Exactly. And so we have created this day, that's the second we do this year, which is really a day of nurturing, returning to home, to yourself. So many women spend their time taking care of their family, of everyone, and they forget who they are. So it's really 1 day of reconnection with beautiful, nurturing, high raw vegan food, a bit of yoga, accessible to everyone. Even if you never did yoga, it's good, breath work. And then I will also wave my magic by doing a women's circle, cacao ceremony, healing the feminine, looking at the lineage, and recovering our power. So a lot of people, when they do this day, feel lighter after and more reconnected to their past.
Amazing. And you also do distance, because we do have distance healings.
I do distance Reiki. I also do some mentoring with people who whatever they want to launch into the world, I just help them to see clearly, and also I use technique like tapping and just testing with kinesiology to finish erasing, blockages, emotions, imprints that are still stored, and prevent people from moving on their path. So yeah, but all this is described on the website.
Yeah.
And I give shamanic initiation, which is something I love to do, because it's I do shamanic circle with women and shamanic journeying workshop with a group of people, and very soon, actually Friday, a fire ceremony. And they are just, well, you came to one, you know how it's like. It's very powerful to gather with other people and set intention for ourselves and the planet. But I give Muneki initiation, so that comes from Peru, from my lineage, and it's a series of 5 initiations that I give one-on-one, because it's really it's an amazing process. And yeah, a few people have asked me to receive them with their wife or partner or sister, but you know, usually it's a one-on-one journey, and very empowering, just to really become earth keepers, soul keepers, and very life-changing.
Amazing. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming to me to do this podcast.
Thank you for my treatment before as well. Feeling very centered, and it's been a really beautiful, expanded conversation. So thank you, Christine.
You're welcome.